Welcome to The Killing, Season 3.
Oh my gosh,
We
we're
made it.
here. Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Go.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Season 3, Episode 1, The Jungle.
Yes.
And this part part 1 was written by Vina Sud.
Right, who is the series creator.
Exactly. So that was very exciting for us to see.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to take a whole new turn. We've got new characters. We've got a new storyline.
A new story up. Yeah, this
Very
is great.
exciting. So we're going to start with part 1, and then we'll do a second podcast for part 2.
Yes.
Just so our audience knows what's happening.
Part 1 is called The Jungle.
The Jungle, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really 2 episodes, but on Netflix they have them placed together as if it's one single thing.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
And we're your hosts, Martha Southgate.
And I'm Rob Southgate. You can tell we're just anxious to get into this one.
Oh my gosh, we want to start talking.
So, okay, the first image we see is this graffiti of angel wings. That was the very first thing that we saw. And basically, it's kind of set up. You see somebody kind of driving, and someone is hunting teenage runaways. That's absolutely the impression I was getting at this point. And a girl gets in a car, and she has on a blue necklace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the jewelry was very prominent.
Right, and they kind of show that, and I don't know, did they show her hands or anything? I think they just really focused on the necklace at this point.
And her ring.
Yes.
She had a ring on. But I wrote on here, on my notes, dark, scary intro.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a completely different feel than the show has had in the previous 2 seasons, I felt.
Yes.
And I said, yes, a young teenager, a hooker, gets into a car.
Right.
Because it's obvious she's a prostitute.
Right. Or that
she's a young girl.
Yeah. You know, they're not necessarily like a prostitute. Well, they are acting as prostitutes. Well, yeah, but like there are hookers and then there are runaways that do these things. They're doing prostitution.
Yes. So I don't quite see your distinction.
I'll tell you what the distinction is. And this is something you're seeing with these runaways. They are doing it like they know that if I do this, I'm going to get a couple of bucks to go do this. Mm-hmm. They're acting like a kid with a job at McDonald's. They're acting in that respect as opposed to a prostitute who is somebody who is doing it for a living. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a little bit of a distinction. There's a point when it crosses over when they know that they're doing it and what they're doing is illegal and all that. But at this point, they're just acting like runaways.
They know very well what they're doing is illegal because they keep hiding from cops.
The popo.
And by the way, prostitutes.
You can tell this is not my world.
I don't understand what you're talking about, but prostitutes are not doing it because they want that as a career. Most of them are doing it because they're going, I need to eat tonight. I need to feed my kids tonight. I need to do... There's no difference. There really is no difference. There is no difference.
I just, when you said it, it just seemed like a different thing to me. But no.
And the behavior is exactly the same. It's a means to an end.
Yes.
For all involved.
You know what? I think we've said this on this podcast
Even the Johns,
before.
It's a means to an end.
I don't know this world very well.
Okay, so we'll just...
Obviously you do, though. What's up with that?
I watch a lot of Lifetime.
So Valerie Bertinelli shows up. Oh, no, that was on Lifetime.
Exactly, see?
Yeah, she's the world's oldest living teenage runaway.
Teenage hooker?
Yeah.
So Holder's investigating with a new partner. Oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah. So we don't know how long
we don't get to see Sarah for a while.
But we don't know how long after the events of the first one had taken place.
Not yet. They say it later.
And we do know that, well, I'm assuming at this point that Sarah didn't get her badge back because she didn't get it back at the end of the last season, even though she was instrumental in solving Rosie's murder. She was still actively in there, but she did not have her badge. She was not on the force. So at this point, I'm assuming she's not there. He's working with a new partner. Mm-hmm. And Holder's drinking milk.
Well, the guy took it. The guy was drinking Holder's milk.
Right, but Holder goes into a whole thing about milk and breast milk, and it was hilarious.
He gives him a health lesson, and the guy says, "What, did your mom breastfeed you until you were a teenager?" and then Holder explains the benefits of colostrum, which is just fantastic. Milk, right? Well, it's a specific part of it's in the beginning stages of...
Yes. It's that early stuff.
It's the beginning stuff. It's almost clear. It's before the milk comes in.
Right. And he starts talking about the health benefits.
It was hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a murder scene and
Holder also is in like a suit, so he's looking a little bit spiffier than, you know...
He's not quite as much of a train wreck as
the guy in the hoodie that was all through season 1.
And 2. So there's a murder scene.
Right, they're at a dock.
And so I'm wondering, is it the hooker? Is it that teenage girl?
Well, of course, they're kind of leading you that way. Yeah. And there was a body.
And I am smart enough to follow their little breadcrumb.
There was totally, more than once in this episode, there was that X-Files vibe.
Yes.
Because Holder's walking around, he's got the flashlight. You hear flies at one point. So all of a sudden it got really loud and like he kind of walked in this room like, he found the body. And this was crazy.
What?
It was a girl and...
Oh, one of the teenage girls. Yeah.
She is almost completely decapitated, he says.
Oh, wait, I thought you were talking about the bridge. Okay.
No.
Well, I was on the next scene.
She was either decapitated or almost decapitated because I think I wrote she was decapitated.
I blocked that out.
I think they made a reference to it later and said it was almost. But wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We're not talking somebody took her up there and accidentally killed her and no, we've got a problem.
Or there was a conflict and someone got hurt. Yeah,
somebody got hurt. No, if you're decapitating somebody, that's a murder.
That's really
you
thought
do that,
out.
Yeah, you do that for a reason.
I watch enough Lifetime movies.
Yeah. Valerie Bertinelli cuts off the head of who? Heather Thomas? Who else is in those things?
That doesn't really happen too much. Who's Heather Thomas?
Heather Thomas is one of those actresses from that...
Heather Locklear?
Heather Locklear.
There's a Heather Thomas?
Yeah, there was a Heather Thomas.
I don't know.
Which one was on TJ Hooker? Heather Locklear, right? Okay, Heather Thomas is the other one.
There's another one?
There were a couple of Heathers back then. And not the movie The Heathers.
The movie. Oh.
No, I knew you were going there.
So a girl's about to jump off a bridge. Another teenage
girl. Well, she's leaning over like she looks like she's going to jump. This was giving me...
She wasn't just leaning. She climbed over the railing and was on the other side. I mean, it's like...
Right. This was making me very nervous. And this is also letting us know, we're going to be dealing with these like teenage runaway girls. Mm-hmm. That's what this is.
I'm glad you picked that up. It took you 3 scenes to gather that.
Well,
you saw a pattern for me.
The first time we saw that it was a hooker. What if the story was about hookers? We didn't know it was going to be about older hookers. We didn't know.
What is the difference?
Okay, here's the difference. When we first saw the first one, this isn't the difference. The first thing I was already shamed on.
Yeah.
With this, it could be that the killer is specifically going for hookers, and it could be older, younger, whatever.
Younger.
But when we see these teenage girls, at least what I'm thinking is he's preying on teenage runaways. There is a distinction. They're not all hookers.
Yeah. Every one of the ones that he...
But at this point, we don't know that. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh my gosh, you're so crazy. You're so crazy. He is going after teenage hookers.
Okay. I'll concede.
There's no one that he's going after that wasn't doing the dirty.
Okay.
In the car or whatever. I mean, that's why they were with him.
That's just how their world is. It's so foreign to me.
Okay, well, I would hope so. Okay, so the victim was a 17 or 8. Well, anyway, so the friend saves this girl.
Right.
And she said, I wasn't going to jump. I was looking at
the water and how calm it was down there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not so much.
So her friend saved her. So then...
And they start discussing, like, shelters and where they're going to go and all that kind of stuff. So once again, very foreign world to me. This is weird.
Holder and his partner are discussing the victim. So the victim is a 17 or 18-year-old girl.
Right. Right. Right.
Oh, I was like, who's Rice?
I don't know.
What are you talking about? His partner doesn't want the case. He wants to dump it.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's done. He doesn't want to do this stuff. As opposed to Sarah, who was like, I'm going to get so involved in every aspect of this case. Yeah.
And I wrote, his partner's a pig.
Yes.
I don't like him.
No.
I'm not happy. I want Sarah back.
No.
Okay. I didn't write all that, but I'm saying it now as an editorial.
Right.
The homeless girls are talking about a girl one of the other girls likes.
Oh, wait, you missed a key moment.
Okay, give it.
When this was all going down and they were talking about the body and that the killer had used a condom, they mentioned that. And then we also find out that Holder is taking the sergeant's exam.
Oh, yeah.
And his partner is like, you don't need this distraction. Like, he's trying to use that. Like, you need to study for your exam and all that.
Mm-hmm.
When he was really just trying to get out of it.
Right.
So that was important because now we know Holder, who was like barely hanging on by a thread last time, is now working his way to get a sergeant. That's amazing.
To get a sergeant?
To become a sergeant. Man.
Do you need to go back to bed?
I need coffee or something.
You need something.
I need something.
So the one girl likes another girl.
Yes.
But
yeah, the girl that saved the one that was jumping in,
yeah,
she looks very masculine.
Yes.
And you find out that she likes this other girl and she's jealous of this boy who the other girl is seeing.
So she stole a blue ring because the girl said she always admired her grandma's and she always wanted to steal it.
Right.
And so she stole one for her.
Right.
To give to her. But then the other girl said, well, yeah, but he's got a boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a problem.
Right.
There.
And the red-haired girl, the one that was going to jump in the water.
We will know their names eventually.
Right, we will. But right now it's just red-haired girl, dark-haired girl, whatever.
Yeah, because they never mention
She puts
them.
the ring on, and the dark-haired girl takes it looks like a selfie, but it's not a selfie. It's a UC.
Because it's not of her.
Because she's taking a picture of her.
You mean just a picture? Yeah,
but she holds up the ring. But it looks like a selfie where they kind of hold up and look real close in the camera and stuff. It looks like that. Okay. So, I know what selfies are. So they take the picture, and I'm thinking this is going to be a plot device. So we're going to see this come back.
Of course. And we've already seen the jewelry was playing a part.
Right.
In the storyline. So one of the cops agrees to switch cases.
Jablowski.
Okay.
His name's Jablowski. I got that right.
Holder seems to be hesitating. He's not too sure he wants to let go of the case.
Right.
Yeah, because he actually cares and wants to solve things.
Right.
And wants to work.
Well, and he's solved a big one.
Jackass.
And knows what that is to actually solve something like this. And he's driven to do that. It's not ego. It's he wants to help. And this other guy doesn't.
Wants to do nothing. So I made a note here. And I wrote, no rain this whole episode so far.
Interesting.
That has never happened.
Yeah, because the last one we talked every time it would be like, oh, and it's raining.
And it's pouring. It wasn't just raining. It was pouring. So
now I wonder if that was just time of year.
Yeah, that's what you had said that when we were taking the notes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Sarah is working at a marina. She's transit authority.
Yeah, she's transit authority.
She has a house.
It's Vashon Marina.
But she's got a whole thing going on. She has a whole little life.
Well, and she also obviously has a little relationship because the other transit authority guy that's standing on the other side gives her a little smile and she kind of winks at him or smiles at him. And I'm like, oh, even if not a wink, but I'm like, she's got some kind of relationship with this guy.
She's a cougar because he's a child.
Right.
But
not a child.
No, he's in his 20s. I mean, seriously.
He's much younger than her.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm going to get called out on my craziness, you're going to get called on yours.
She's a lot older than him.
Yes.
And her son is not that much farther apart in age.
Right.
And her son seems to be curiously absent.
Completely
in this
gone.
Home. So
yeah, so she goes home.
She got her mail.
Yep. And there's a letter from the Washington Department of Corrections.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what that was about.
No, but obviously it's going to be important because they focused right on it.
Okay, and so here comes the guy she works with, and he
comes up behind her.
He scared her playfully.
Yep. And they go all kissy face.
Yeah. I said she ignored the letter and went to do the wild thing.
Yeah, so they're clearly having a relationship. I wrote they're dating, but once again, that's me being naive. Doesn't mean they're dating. They're making kissy face.
Ray Seward is getting the death penalty for killing his wife.
Yes.
This must be the guy from Sarah's other case.
Yes.
She wrongly imprisoned him.
Right. And that's why she got this letter from the Department of Corrections.
Not that she wrongly imprisoned him.
No, but that she was...
But to know your guy is getting let out.
No,
no, I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Oh my gosh, I knew
he's
that.
on death watch.
Yes, he's about to be murdered.
Right, he's being put on death row, and we find out that he's on a death watch. That's what they tell him. Like, you got 30 days, and we're going to put you on death watch because they don't want these guys committing suicide because God forbid they take their own life. Yeah,
you can't die until we kill you.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
But there is a lot of weird legality. Like if they kill themselves while being watched, the families can sue because it was neglect or something like that. It's like you have to fulfill the whole thing.
Are you actually
that I know
knowing this, or is this kind of like what you did already in the episode?
No. That's something that I've actually read that before.
Okay. Holder shows up at Sarah's. Yeah, this was interesting. She says she's been running every morning. She seems happy and
I've stopped
healthy.
Smoking. He says the same
Holder's
thing,
got
too.
a whole thing, too. I'm thinking, you guys are such freaking liars.
Yeah.
So we find out now it's been a year.
Right.
And
she said it's been a year.
He's doing well, too. He's going to do the sergeant exam.
And he said he's solved 7 out of 7 cases. Yeah. That's amazing.
That's really good. So Cody came in and met Holder. That's the
transit authority guy.
Teenager. And Holder says, "Oh, dial 1-900-Linden."
Yeah, it's the best.
And
he says, "What are you dating?" She's like, "I'm not dating." Oh, dial 1-900-Linden.
And she says,
then, "Wait." Holder says, "So he's one of Jack's friends?"
Well, first she asks him, "Do you want milk, or are you still doing that vegan thing?" So she's trying to dig at him.
Right.
While he's doing this, and then he says. So as to get back at her for the vegan comment, he says, "Is he one of Jack's friends?"
Right.
Yeah, because he's a child.
Right.
And
right.
He says, "How's little man doing?"
Little man, yep.
"I hear he got himself a sweet little piece." And she says, "Holder, he has a girlfriend."
And then she's like, "How do you even know?" He's like, "We text."
Yeah, we text every now and then.
Which is hilarious.
He keeps me in the loop. And she said, "He always liked you for some reason." What's not to like? He says.
Oh, it's awesome.
I loved it.
This was great. This was a great scene between the two of them, even though it was a dance. You know?
And it was awkward in that it was. I thought, really, you guys, it's been a year and you haven't seen each other.
After they solved Rosie's thing, that was so emotional and so much tied to it, and I'm sure they drifted apart there.
Right. Holder says that
he didn't call 1-900-Linden.
He says that the case that came his way had a similar MO to the one she worked.
Right.
And
the one that drove her over the edge.
She says, and she says, if you're looking for a connection, there is none. We caught the guy 3 years ago and put him away. And Holder says, they're going to execute him. I'm sure you've heard. And she says, what do you want, Holder? Because, I mean, really, she's saying, don't drag I moved on. I'm pretending that this didn't happen, and I'm moving on.
When she tells him, go back and you can look at the case file.
Well, he says he wants to see her old files, and he said, they're missing.
She says, go, you can find them. And he's like,
no, they're missing.
No, they're missing.
And she's
clearly she's lying, too. I mean, she avoids responding to this.
And she says, hey, Holder, not every victim's worth it. That is so not Sarah.
So Sarah is essentially shutting the door on these feelings, these emotions,
all that work and everything. And
so he leaves.
He says, I never thought the day would come. The day would come, I would hear that from you.
Wow.
And that is sad.
Right. Right.
Because she was so passionate and cared so much.
Well, he probably figures with what's going on here, she's going to bite right into this because he knows her history with this case. But she is like shutting the door on
He
her.
left the file there.
Right. He leaves that case file there. And of course she looks down and sees it. And there's no way she's going to resist.
Exactly.
So we go to Seward.
Seaward.
Seaworthy. He gets moved to a secure bus, and they're moving him to the C block, is what they say, and that's death row. And he's looking out the bus window, and was it a prisoner? Who said it to him? It was a cop?
One of the guards says, "Better enjoy the view."
Yeah, it's the last time you'll see it. And that really had an impact as they showed that, and you're looking at it. To me, I'm watching that thinking, you don't realize that when they're going to death row or whatever, it really is, when they say last time, it is last time.
Well, and the
for
hardest
30 days, everything they do, they're going to be thinking
this is the last time.
But
the thing that makes it even more painful here is that we know he's innocent. He's not innocent of being a bad guy.
Right.
But he did not kill this woman.
Right. Well, we also don't know how much of a bad guy he was. We know that he's probably turned here because of being imprisoned and
she said that he did a lot of very bad things.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
In the past episodes, they had said he was he was a bad. So they were happy
right.
they got him. They were like, well, at
Yeah,
least
he
we
was
put
still
away
a bad guy.
But he wasn't
to be going to death row.
Exactly.
That's a pretty big leap.
So he asks to see the prison chaplain.
Right. So homeless girls.
Yep.
And they see a cab. And
well, first they heard about the victim. And,
did they?
And
I
so
didn't know if they did.
They were talking
point.
about it, and they said, "Did you hear?" So they heard about the girl who they had found.
Okay.
And so the girl is hiding from a guy named Joe. He's
that's what I was going to say.
Car.
Is she goes, "I don't want to see Joe. I don't want Joe stopping here." Goes, "Why? Did he do something to you?" This world, weird, man.
It's scary.
It's scary. It's terrifying. It's awful.
And to think of these kids out there fending for themselves and trying to maneuver through this is just a gut-wrenching.
And we see Holder. He walks up in the middle of this to buy cigarettes from some little outdoor thing.
So
I don't even know
window.
What that was.
It was
weird.
some bizarre. He stood at a brick wall and came out with and just asked for cigarettes.
So he's really there to he's going to ask some questions.
Yeah.
And he sticks out like a sore thumb now that he's wearing his suit and everything. And
it was funny when he tries talking to one of the girls. He tells the one, "I don't eat anything that's processed." And she says, "Why? You want to retain your glowing skin?"
Right. Well, first thing she said is, "Yo, Poe, you going to eat some donuts?"
Right. And he says, "This Taj Mahal needs upkeep."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he makes me die laughing.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So she tries telling off Holder. And the one that's doing it is the dark-haired one.
Yeah, I'll get her name.
Oh, yeah.
Bullet.
Huh? Bullet. Yeah, it's Bullet. So she tries telling him off, and he grabs her.
Yeah, he did. He roughed her up. He said, "You want to act like a man?
Yeah.
I'll treat you like a man."
Yeah.
That was scary.
And then
he actually roughs her up.
He roughs her up a little bit, and then he gets a call, and it's from some girl. Mm-hmm. So who's this girl?
Exactly.
That
doesn't make Martha
not
happy.
Sarah. So has he moved on too?
Yes.
Even though they never really. They had a relationship, but they had the Mulder-Scully relationship from seasons 1 and 2 before.
And 3. And
8.
So, okay, well, we find out Reggie's getting married.
Yes.
And Sarah gives an awkward toast.
Yeah, right. Very weird. And,
she's really not one who should be in public.
No.
She just really shouldn't be around.
No public speaking.
She shouldn't be around humans.
Right,
really.
right. But here's the good news. We see Jack.
Well, she's smoking.
Jack's there.
We see her smoking.
Yeah, of course. She's just fully smoking.
Because
and Jack walks up and he's like, "Hey, Mom, can I bum one?"
Right.
Oh, gosh.
So we find out he's only visiting her. He lives with his dad now, and he wants...
So that happened last season. He was going to live with his dad, but
we
he's
didn't
still
think it
there.
was permanent.
It's now a year later.
And
he's still there.
He wants her to move to Chicago,
yeah.
and I just wrote here, awkward family moment, because she doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
She doesn't want... He goes, "Don't you want to be near me? Don't you want to... We'd be able to see each other more." She doesn't want to.
No, when she says, "If I moved there, I don't know anybody except you and your dad."
Mother of the Year award again.
Yes. Oh, and also it was at this point I hear them. I figured out that Holder's partner, his name is Carl.
Carl,
so we can call him Carl from here on out.
Call him Big Carl.
Okay, so Holder now. He is obsessing about the dead girl.
Well, no, Carl got him a burger. We got to go there first.
Okay, right.
Carl brings him a burger, and Holder says, "You know I don't eat meat."
Right.
I mean, that was a year. He's been his partner for a year, and he brings him a burger.
Right.
Although Holder...
Yeah, but this is Holder. I'm a vegetarian, and I'm eating a bacon and egg sandwich.
Holder's lines are a bit blurred, but at the same time, it is
He should just say, "I don't eat burgers."
Or I don't eat what I don't want to eat in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know I make my own rules.
He's obsessing about the case they gave up.
Right.
And the coroner's office has an ID on the body.
Right, they get a call about that.
So he's going to go pick up the paperwork, even though it's not their case.
Yeah, well, he hides it from Carl. Mm-hmm. He does, because Carl is going to say, "Let's go give it to Jablonski," and he's like, he just hides it because he knows. So we know Holder's getting deep on this one.
He goes and meets the girl's parents.
Yes.
And we find out she was only 14.
Yes, her name is Ashley.
And he has to tell them that she's dead. And
man, and they're sitting there saying
that was
stuff
beyond
like
painful.
They're talking about her as if she's alive, and finally he has to say that she's dead
because they keep hoping she'll come back.
And she said she ran away and she was involved in drugs and everything. This was awful.
Yes,
I love how they did this though, because it was rough to watch.
Yes,
but in the previous seasons, when they talked to Stan and Mitch the first time, it was gut-wrenching. Yeah. This is a gut-wrenching situation, but they focused it, like the focus was on Holder more. We didn't see as much of the parents, so it was something that you could be a little bit more numb to.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you that I was like scarred by the Mitch and Stan stuff.
The other thing here is that I really liked that they didn't just portray every single set of parents as just losers, or abusive or whatever. It's like this was a caring normal parents. Right. And she just was hanging out with the wrong people and took a bad path. And,
right.
And we've been trying to get her back on track. They were involved. They cared. They wanted her.
Right.
I liked that they balanced it because they did show the other end of that with parents who didn't care.
Right. Well, we're going to meet a mom eventually here.
Who trumps Sarah in terms of bad mother parenting.
Sarah would win Mother of the Year.
Yeah.
But with these guys, these were normal parents. Their kid got involved in drugs and ran away. It's horrible.
So I do like that they humanized it a bit.
Yes. And they didn't go with the obvious.
Just the easy way out. Cliche.
This was really good writing.
The one homeless girl goes home and we find out.
This is the red-haired
her name.
Girl.
Okay, I gotta go there. Hang on.
And here we go. This is the mom we were talking about.
Now I got names here somewhere. Callie, who is the homeless girl that was about to jump off the bridge.
Right. That's the red-haired girl.
Yes. She goes home, and we get to see her mom.
Right.
And her mom is a real lovely person.
I actually wrote on here, we get to see her moms as a little tribute to Holder.
There you go. She won't let her stay there because of her boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, and the mom is drinking. It's morning.
Yeah.
And she's really young, too.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is a piece of work. Beer and cigs everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and she's not real motherly.
Oh, not at all.
Once again, Sarah, at least, you could tell loves Jack.
Yeah.
She just doesn't have the skills. This woman, no, doesn't care.
And
tells her she can't stay there, too.
She's not even sisterly.
No.
Like sometimes you have a single parent situation like that with two girls.
Right.
Sometimes the mom gets a little
kind of sisterly, but not here.
Off center and thinks, oh, we just need to be friends and we're just drinking partners or whatever.
Yeah,
no, there's no friendship. There's no nothing.
Nope, nothing.
And really not a nice situation.
Nope.
The chaplain at the prison goes to see
the chaplain
Seward.
shows up. Yeah.
And the window's dirty. And so Seward is looking out the window, and he talks about the trees out the window are the same as when he was a boy.
Right.
And how sad is that? Like, you only get so many more days, and you can't even see out your window.
Right.
So, yeah, not good.
Yeah, no, this is not a pleasant situation. But it's death row, and you figure that's not a pleasant situation.
And Seward tells the chaplain that he doesn't believe in Jesus. He said God isn't listening anyway.
Right. Says he's not going to confess.
Yeah, and he's
got nothing to confess.
He says to the chaplain, "Why don't you people ever give it a rest?"
Right.
And the chaplain says, "Whatever comfort I can give in the final days is why I don't give it a rest." And Seward killed him.
He didn't kill him.
You're thinking that guy survived that?
He smashes his head into the bars. He did not kill him. They yelled, "Get a paramedic in here." He did
my
not
gosh,
kill
I can't
him.
even imagine that he survived that.
Right. He didn't kill him, I'm telling you. But he injured this guy badly.
It was very, very scary and disturbing.
It was horrible. And once again,
this
here's
is a
guy,
much more violent season.
Well, and here's a guy that we've already said is innocent of killing, but he's a bad guy. We're seeing that play out here.
Yes.
If he killed this guy, then he's a killer anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying he didn't kill this guy. Because there's no way to have resolution with that later. Oh, you didn't kill him, but you did kill this guy. No, doesn't work.
Sarah's jogging. She's out for a run.
Right. It really reminded me of the very first
episode. Yeah, because now the rain starts.
Yep.
This is the first time this episode.
Right.
And she ends up in some shelter of sorts.
Yeah, it looks like a barn or something.
A stable or something?
Yeah, like a stable.
There are animal skeletons everywhere.
Yes.
That was weird.
Somebody just left these animals there to rot. And they obviously died of starvation and that. And one of them is kind of laying there on its side and making noise.
Oh, not good.
It's so disturbing.
This.
But once again, reminiscent of that very first. Remember the very first episode? She goes out for the run and she sees that thing washed up on the beach.
Yes.
And we're like, oh, is that a body? We're like, oh, I think it's an animal. Same kind of thing. She goes out for this run. Here's death around her again. And once again, this is something that's going to draw her back in because she's thinking about those pictures. She's thinking about this case. And now she's in this thing with all these dead animals. Oh.
Seward's lawyer is trying to convince him to use his appeal. And no, Seward wants to be hanged. And he says, that way they'll have to hear it.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that is so disgusting.
Yeah, and he says, think of your son. He's just 10. And Seward doesn't care.
Right.
I mean, he might care, but
he's
none
not
of that's
letting
getting
it out.
through.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
yeah,
my
really
gosh.
horrifying.
That's a horrible thought. That's something that you never think of.
Right.
Like, I didn't even know they had a choice, but they said in their state they have a choice.
Hanged. Oh. The homeless girls are at a shelter.
Right.
And Bullet hits on Lyric, the girl that she likes.
Right. Well, she goes to give her the ring, but just as she's going to hit on her and give her the ring, her boyfriend shows up. Now, we found out his name is Twitch. Yeah. I just kept writing mod guy, actor guy. Yeah, but it's this guy Twitch. He shows up, and Bullet doesn't look real happy.
No.
This is where I actually figured out that the dark-haired girl's name was Bullet, even though before that you were already saying it. Mm-hmm. This is where I wrote down, oh, her name is Bullet.
Okay, this is an interesting scene here, because when Callie was at her mom's, she said, can I stay here tonight? And her mom said, no.
I have a boyfriend.
My boyfriend's going to be here, and Callie and the boyfriend don't mix.
Right.
And so during the scene, Bullet, they put in for a lottery or something to get a bed. Beds. And Bullet got a bed for the night, but Callie doesn't. And Bullet tries to give it to her and says, here, you stay. And she says, oh, no, I'm staying at my mom's.
Right here.
Even though we know
hairs on the back of my neck are standing up.
Because we know her mom said no.
Right, and you know this is going to end badly here.
Yeah.
This is a bad scene. Like when as soon as she said, no, my mom said I can stay there, I'm like, oh no, oh, Callie.
And this next scene is when we get Sarah back.
Yes.
Sarah goes back to her house and finds her boyfriend looking at her case file.
Yeah.
She soundlessly gets her gun and leaves.
Yep.
No words.
Yep.
She's... Yep. And I'm sitting there going, oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Detective
There's some form
Linden
of Sarah that's
here.
back.
Yep.
Yes. Holder.
She's done playing transit authority with this guy.
Yes. Holder asked the coroner if she had any rings. If
this was interesting.
Ashley, the victim, had any rings on her
fingers. Because we saw the blue ring that Callie had on that Bullet stole. So, and Bullet gave Callie that ring when she didn't give it to Lyric.
Yes.
That was something we didn't say, but she gave her the ring. So she's now got that ring, which I'm sure, knowing what's coming, I'm sure that's going to pop up again.
Right.
So it was interesting, though, that Holder asks if they had rings on.
Yes.
Because we only saw a necklace so far.
And Sarah's back at the shelter.
Yeah, we're getting into that fast part.
Yeah, she kills the cow to put it out of its misery. So that's where she was going with the gun.
Yeah, it's pouring rain.
And I'm sure, imagine what Cody was thinking back at her house.
Yeah.
Wow, she's got this crazy case file out.
And she comes in, grabs a gun, and walks out.
I mean, how disturbing is that? Holder's looking at a picture of the victim. And then Sarah's in her house looking for the case files.
He notices that there are no rings.
Yeah. So someone's got the rings.
This is important.
Yeah.
So then that's when Sarah pulls into the house.
She's looking for the case files.
Yep, she's looking for those case files that we know she has.
And Callie gets in a car.
Oh.
And I just die.
This was awful. And I like Callie, too. She seems like, even though she's messed up, she
just wants somebody to take care of her. She just wants something.
You feel bad because you see what her home life is like. You see what this mom is, and it's like, oh, it's horrible. And here she is getting in this cab.
So this ends the first half, of episode 1.
Yeah.
So the jungle is this is the end of that.
End of episode.
So let's wrap this up, and then we'll record.
Yeah. So you can find past episodes of the Killing Podcast on our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at The Killing Pod. You can follow me on Twitter at @rsouthgate, and Martha, you tweet out of
SMG Pods.
SMG Pods. Find us on Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr. For any of these, you can look up either the show name. Well, for Pinterest, you can look up the show name, but you can also just type in Southgate Media Group, and we should pop up on there. And that's usually the best way to find us and the best entry point. Same thing with Facebook. We have a Southgate Media Group one, and we have the Killing Podcast. So there you go. Find us on iTunes. Find us on Stitcher. Please subscribe and tell your friends about it, and rate us and review us. And, you know, if there's someplace that you want your podcast and you don't see it on there, we urge you to let us know. Send us an email at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. Let us know, and we will find a way to get on that directory. There you go. That's it. Can't wait to get into the second episode. For the Killing Podcast, I'm Rob Southgate.
I'm Martha Southgate.
And we don't have an ending
until next
one.
Week.
I wonder what happens to Callie.
Who killed Ashley?
Well.
Or what happens to Callie?
There we go.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.